Hey guys, what's going on? This is Roth. We are here at New York Comic Con with none other than Lucy Liu and Jonny Lee Miller here to talk a little Sherlock. Oh my goodness. Can I start that again? Sure. I'm so sorry.
I wish I could do that more.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Roth. I'm here at New York Comic Con with none other than Lucy Liu and Jonny Lee Miller. Talk a little elementary. We're very excited about this upcoming season. So it looks like a little wrench is being thrown in between this relationship in the form of Kitty Winter, which is the coolest name, by the way. So can you talk about your relationship with her? Are you just kind of bringing her along to get to Watson?
A little bit. I mean, firstly, I think some of the coolness of the name comes from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle himself.
Yes.
The character is it's been expanded from an original storyline. Yeah, I mean, Sherlock has he's been away from New York City when we pick up the season for a period of time, and he's come back and he has picked up a protege, an apprentice, who he's training up to be a detective.
How does Watson feel about that?
Watson is not so thrilled that she finds someone following her and that actually it's somebody that Sherlock has sent along. And I think she's also a little surprised to see Sherlock because he sort of took off very abruptly and the last time she saw him. So the whole thing is adds a little bit of friction, and you sort of see how the relationship has been fractured in that time.
Does this time apart allow Watson to come into her own a little bit more to some degree?
Yeah, it's we see Watson has been working very independently. She's now living in her own place, and she's working independently at the police precinct.
Yeah, and you can sort of see that she has sort of broken off into her own. She's become her own detective, and she's become much more confident also.
She has some complicated relationships going on, it seems to me. There's old boyfriends, new boyfriends, a nemesis in the form of Gina Gershon. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I think they're just sort of giving her a little bit of layers, adding those layers on so that you can sort of see what she's been doing and what she's been up to without Sherlock. And of course, when he pops up, all of it really starts to happen. And I don't know, I think there's a really wonderful dynamic between Watson and Sherlock that it adds, like when I watch it, I think, oh, it's so, there's something missing to me, but I think that, what you really see is how their chemistry works on film, and I love that, and I love working with Jonny, and I think it becomes really clear how important our relationship is.
Talk a little bit about where you're at in this coming season. NYCC is this...
Personally?
Yes, you, Jonny.
I'm all over the
How are
place.
you feeling?
Absolutely all over the place.
Well, Sherlock, I mean, there's this sort of, what's the MI6 thread going to be like this season? Do you think that he's legitimately joined up, or is this a big elaborate ruse?
To be honest with you, the further on down the line is as much as a mystery to me. Also, we keep all these story threads, in the bag of tools which can be used. So far, no, that's something he's left behind. We see that he has. We discover that things probably didn't go quite so well over in England for him. Hence his return to New York. I mean, that's one of the reasons he's come back. The other sort of reason I really think is, standing next to me.
Aww. Aww.
No, not like that, guys. Come on.
Not like that. Not like that.
Come on,
it's not
guys.
like that, which is actually kind of one of the nice things about the show, right? Like, this relationship really is about a friendship. Do you think that your character is even capable of a healthy romantic relationship after being burned so badly by Moriarty?
Well, that's an interesting question. Probably not. I think he finds that very difficult. But I think with regards to your first point, that I think Holmes and Watson are Holmes and Watson, and that's very important to all of us who work on the show. And I think also the fact that Watson is female shouldn't matter. And that we get on with the other. We would rather focus on them being Holmes and Watson. Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel like if at certain point that it seemed like they were shifting this in a more romantic direction, that would be a loss for this relationship?
I honestly don't think that Rob Doherty, who's the executive on the show, is going to go in that direction. He's actually very adamantly against that. I think it makes sense for him because he really wants to retain, what was in the literature. I mean, a lot has obviously changed. We're in New York, we're in modern day, it's a woman, there's so many things that are rupturing what that was, that I really highly doubt he wants to go down that road. He's made it very clear in any interviews he's ever had that that's not something that's going to happen. So, and I think the development between Sherlock and Watson is not about gender, it's about friendship. And I think the emphasis is going to be on that and the growth of that, and the expansion of that. And I think that's what's going to make the show much more interesting, not so much the procedural aspect, but that sort of development to me and to him, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it certainly adds another dimension of something, chemistry-wise or fracture-wise. It shifts it, and our show's a lot about that, really. That we try and, change things and make them different, but there are many, many echoes of the original work in there, whether it be through lines being slipped into dialogue or characters and names and all that kind of thing, but with a definite twist on it.
The nice thing about the show too, you mentioned the procedural aspect, but there's been a good mix of procedural and then having an arc over the season, whether it had been Mycroft or Moriarty. This season, what feels like the big arc? Is it you guys sort of separating, getting stronger as individuals, and then coming back together?
I think so. I think what we're finding in the last 8 episodes that we've shot is sort of the reconnection between their relationship and the development of layering in these other characters and how that sort of changes their dynamic as well. Because now this season we open up with Joan having a boyfriend, and how does that sort of change how he feels about her, or how does he interact with other people around him, and how does she interact with other people now that he has a new protege as well.
Do you think you might do any more directing?
I will be doing another episode at the end in December, so I'm gearing up for it. Yeah.
What's Lucy like as a director?
Lucy's wonderful as a director. Very, very considerate of her actors and the crew in general. We're a tight knit group. I mean, as a crew, because we all spend so much time with each other. So that's. She just fits really well into that. So everyone's very supportive of that, and Lucy's very professional, very methodical as a director, and very prepared, and very calm, and those are the real qualities that really allow the work to take off.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to seeing the return of the show, October 30th. One last little tease, any little teases that you're especially looking forward to fans seeing? The fight looks awesome from
Thanks.
the trailer.
Short but sweet. I don't know. I think I'm just excited about season 3 because I think it's sort of now you're able to stop, discussing, sober companionship or discussing a case. It's really discussing, one another and their interactions. And I think that allows for a lot more than we had originally. And I think what we had before was kind of exciting. So now it sort of gets a little bit deeper.
Great. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
For all things elementary and New York Comic Con, keep it locked right here to IGN.